Today we're going to go ahead and get through the motor limit instructions for the AC-ELI products. So that is in this particular instance, a AC-powered, hardwired, 110 volt electronic limit intelligent motor system. So the ELI is electronic limit intelligent motor system. So for starters, what we want to do is I've installed the shades. We now have the shades partially down. Typically, when you get into this situation and you have newly installed shades, they're going to be in the fully up position. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start from scratch. I'm going to run these up to fully up position so it's similar to a shade that was just installed or a shade system. In this case, it's a coupled 2-on-1 system that was just recently installed in the brackets and wired up, and it's now ready to go. So typically what you're going to have is probably the fabric off the roll a little bit. What we now want to do, I'm going to default this motor. Now the motor should be set to a default setting by the factory so that when you receive it, there's no memory in the motor at all. And what you're doing is you're starting from scratch, and that's just essentially what I've done. And I'll go through that process with you towards the end on how to do that if you need to. Now that we have the motor in the default setting, and we've just installed the shade system, we're going to refer to our instructions that we have here. And I'm going to follow these. So if you don't have access to the video, you always have access to the instructions. It's nice to have both. You have two different methods in terms of pairing the transmitter. There's a method A, there's a method B. My preference is to go straight to method B. Reason being is we don't have to worry about a power cut or anything of that nature to pair it to the motor. It's the simplest approach, and it's the one that I recommend. So you're going to skip to step 2. Step 3 is the next portion, which is changing direction. So I'm going to do both. Method B, I'm going to press with a paper clip. If you can find a paper clip, even in this particular instance, to press the buttons, just a small screwdriver works. Press the program button. There's 2 buttons. Just press one of the 2. They both do the same thing. As soon as you press that button, even prior to doing so, make sure that your remote is on the appropriate channel that you want to pair this particular motor to. So I should have done that ahead of time. I'm going to get this to channel 1. This is my first shade that I'm programming. And let's see if it's in programming mode still. It's out. So what I'm going to do, now that I have in the appropriate channel, press and hold till I get a jog. I'm going to press and hold the up till I get a jog, or just do a press and release and it will jog. You've now paired this transmitter to that motor on this particular channel, which is 1. Now I want to check motor direction. So I'm going to run it down and see it's running up. It's going in the opposite direction. In order to change motor direction, which is step 3 on your instructions, press and hold the stop button for approximately 5 seconds until you get a jog. Okay, now that I have a jog, I'm going to press and release the down arrow or button. It jogged again, letting me know that it received and verified the command. So I have now reversed the motor direction. Down is down, up is up. Okay, so that's critical that that be done before we set limits. Now we're going to set limits. So we move on to, this is going to be the first limit, 4. The second limit, step 5. Suggest that you set the upper limit first. And the way you go about doing that is have the shade system down a little bit from the top. You're going to want to then find a paper clip or a toothpick, something quite small, to go through the little pinhole on the back. You are then going to press the little button inside to get a jog. You are now ready to set your upper motor limit. You can do a momentary by just pressing in short bits, or you can actually press and hold, and it will go into a maintained function to move faster. In this case, I'm pretty close now, so I want to just stay focused on my momentary and just inch it up right where I want it to be. Now in this particular case, I want to have it about even with the bottom of the box. You don't want to go too high up in there, it will get stuck, especially if you have an IZMC back here, and if you have a fairly large roll. Don't get greedy and go up too high, that hem bar will get stuck. So just have it so that it's, if you can, even with the bottom of the head box or the fascia bracket, whatever it may be. Okay, so we've got that. At its top limit, I'm going to press and release the button in the back again, which we call the program button, for another jog. I've now set my upper limit. So now I want to go down to set my lower limit. I'm going to press and hold. This is a tall shade. Okay, so I'm going to wait for this shade to get all the way down, and what I'm going to be able to do with the electronic limits, I don't have to worry about being up here anymore. I can now go down below, and I can focus on where I need to set the limit at the bottom. So as I get close, I'm going to stop it so I can get back into my momentary mode. Okay, and then I can just inch it down a little bit at a time. And on your floor, you probably want to have the bottom of the shade, the bottom of the hem bar, I like to say about a 1/4 inch plus or minus off the floor. Reason for that is floors are uneven. Always have about a 1/4 inch off the highest point of the floor. That way you have clearance. Sometimes the fabrics will stretch a little bit. Sometimes they will ease up a little bit. And actually lengthen to just a slight bit. So 1/4 inch from your highest point should put you in good shape. It also keeps the dirt and other things in the carpet from attaching itself and clinging to the bottom of that shade, which looks pretty nasty after a while. So upper limits are set. Now the bottom, now that I have it where I want it, I'm going to press the program button on the back for a jog. Bottom limit is set, but now what I need to do is I need to close programming. I'm going to press that button again. I'm now out of programming mode. We're now back to a function mode, and we're no longer programming. So I'm just going to press the up button, and what it's going to do is it's going to run to its upper limit. I'm going to press the down button. It's going to run to its lower limit. Just make sure that your limits are locked, and make sure that they are where you want them, where you need them. Now, one thing I want to also point out in today's video is how you can do a fine tuning of limits. So let's just say you have your limits set. And let's just say the client comes in and says, I don't like where you set my limits, okay? And you need to reset or adjust the limits. Fine tuning is very simple and easy. All you have to do is press the program button, run to the limit that you need to reset or fine tune first. Run it to the limit so that it stops on its own. Press the program button, again, on the back for a jog. Now I can fine tune that particular limit, set it wherever I want. It can be higher, it can be lower, wherever I want to set it. Press and release the program button on the back. Again, you've now just fine tuned your limits. So you can do that top and bottom, very simply and easy. If you have to make any slight changes, or even, I don't know why you would, but if you had larger changes to make, because let's just say something was in the way and it's not in the way now, who knows? All right, you can still make whatever adjustments you need to with that setting. Those are the settings that I would focus on for right now. One other thing I do want to mention to you is how you can add a channel or how you can add another transmitter. Now that we've established this shade system on channel 1, let's just say we want to create a group of shades on a separate channel, and those shades run together as a group. In other words, let's just pretend that we have a room of 5 shades. We have 6 individual channels to work with here. And let's just say we have a couple shades that we want to have run together on the same channel at the same time. Well, let's just say we select channel 6 to do that. And 6 is going to be our subgroup channel. So let's just say just the windows in that room on the east side, for example, open and close together. Let's just say there's 3 of them. This is one of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my original channel that I programmed this particular shade to, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get it into program mode. Now, how you do that, once you have a transmitter addressed to a motor, you can press and hold the stop button on the channel that it's addressed to get it into program mode. I'm then going to run over to channel 5, press my up button, which is saying, please add this particular address to this motor. And now I have this shade system working on both channel 1 and working on channel 5. I would then do the same thing with the others. Let's just say the existing shade on channel 2 also needs to go to 5. The one on 3 also needs to go to 5. Go to your channel 2, press and hold your stop. As soon as you get that jog, press and release your up button. Sorry, your up button is your pairing button. And again, you'll have also added that channel, okay? The other thing to keep in mind is your last and final channel, which is all channel. This is an all channel. So anything that's programmed to this transmitter, no matter what channel it's on, if you use your all, it's going to operate every single shade or motor that's been programmed to this transmitter, no matter what channel it's on or how it's grouped. So just keep that in mind. That is your all channel. On your 16 channel devices, keypads, or transmitters, it's a CC channel because you get a digital display on those as opposed to what we have here. Okay, so you can do the same thing with adding a transmitter or a keypad. If you want to add an additional transmitter or a keypad, same process. You would just go ahead and go to the original channel that that particular shade or motor is programmed to. Press and hold your stop. Let's do it one more time. Okay, and let's just say I want to get it over to channel 1 on my keypad. So we'll go channel 1 on a keypad. We'll press and release the up. And now it has also been programmed to the same channel on another additional transmitter or keypad. Okay, so again, once you have the initial transmitter addressed, limit set, very easy to add channels, very easy to add other transmitters or keypads. I think that's it for now. So good luck and keep on learning. Thanks.